everyone just thinks I'm going to go jump into home services and sell my company for $25 million in 18 months.
So there's a lot of pieces that they're missing in their business, and they've never sought and figured those things out.
We lost 1.4 million our first 4 months, 5 months, building it out.
And at the end of the day, most of those businesses stay that way because...
Welcome back to Exit Rich. I'm sitting here with Josh Kelly from Clover Marketing, Clover Growth Group. I'm sitting here in Arizona, which is the hottest place humanly in Earth that you could ever find, so you know. But you have a beautiful home here. I mean, it's amazing.
It's the nicest home on top of the sun that you could possibly...
Yeah. Thank you for having me here. And he actually has water, which I've not seen a body of water since I've been in Arizona.
I mean, his bodies, whatever, they're called pools.
They're called pools.
Glasses, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So, Josh, introduce yourself real quick, because people that don't know you, I want to know you. And I will say this so you understand what Josh has done. He has built one of the largest HVAC companies. He's sold to private equity. He owns seven HVAC companies right now you have an interest in, doing over $100 million a year. You have probably the biggest coaching group in the HVAC space.
Correct.
Getting people to sell. And you also help consult the private equity firms, you know, Apex, and your relationship with them, to sell these companies.
Yeah.
Can you introduce yourself real fast?
I think you just did for the most part.
You probably know a little bit about my guest, but if you give a quick 30-second elevator pitch, see if you can beat me at it.
Yeah, so Josh Kelly, most people know me from Parker & Sons. That's my family's business. I was starting that business with a $6.5 million business. I exited. We sold to the Wrench Group. That was a little bit over $100 million. Parker & Sons right now is the largest home service business in the United States. It should be just short of $300 million this year, just in Phoenix alone. So that's my background. And then really after private equity buy, I had the opportunity to try something different, new. I was executive for a $1 billion company, and then really got back into the space because I was getting frustrated by not controlling my own fate a little bit, and got back into contracting and helping other contractors, and really just providing the same access to resources and the people and mentorship that helped me grow my businesses and, you know, made such a big impact on me.
I mean, 300 million is staggering.
For one market, it's pretty big, yeah.
Well, I have to sit in the heat in this market. I'm going to ask you why you're not at 300 billion. But I'm joking here. I mean, if you really think of it,
in July and August, it's easy to do. The truth is, it's October, November, December, January, February, March, where the weather's literally perfect outside.
And it's hard to make money during those times years. You know, everyone, and you have I don't want to call it a coaching group, but it's a coaching group. You're helping people lay out businesses right.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people have a negative connotation. I don't know why, because I have a coach, right? I pay 6 figures to a year to coach me, right? Into multiple ways, right?
I do too.
I believe in it, right? Why do you think so many people today, businesses, they think it's just so easy? I'm going to go get into the home service industry, right? I just left Travis Rigg. I just left Tommy Mello. I was with Pilot. And everyone just thinks I'm going to go jump into home services and sell my company for $25 million in 18 months. Everyone believes that's the model now.
Yeah.
Can you kind of say why it's bullshit and it's not the case?
So the thing is, it's not total bullshit.
But I've done it, so I know it's not. Like, the majority of people are not doing it.
Right. To make that real, you already have to be a high-level operator, right? And you don't even have to be a high-level operator in the home service space. It certainly helps, but you have to be, going a $25 million business isn't for everyone. No doubt, bro. But, so the pushback to that is fairly simple. Number one, most people get in this industry were technicians or installers or salespeople, and they don't even understand the whole business. What they think is, we charge $450 for a contactor, right? Their contactor's $20. I get paid $90. Holy shit, the company's making all this money. So they don't think of all the back end, all the costs, all the things. So they have blinders on to what it actually takes to run a business. And if you don't understand what it is, then it makes it look a lot easier than it actually is.
Do you think, me and Travis and Tommy were talking, we feel like social media is everyone has Lambos, everyone has, I didn't know that they actually sell fake watches. You know that? So you could go buy a fake Richard Mille. Richard Mille, and you find these fake watches. I knew you could.
Watches are not a new thing, man.
I knew you could buy fake Rolexes. I did not know you could go buy a fake Richard Mille or a fake Patek, right? So then people are writing these exotic cars and they're producing content, and people are getting sucked into these. Yeah. Guys that are great communicators, but they have no success. They have no track record.
All right.
So,
or the grossly exaggerated, I'm not gonna name any names or anything that's super unhealthy, but grows a $50 million business. When you hear a $50 million business, I think $50 million this year or last year, right? But they mean over the last 10 years.
Yeah, that don't work.
Right?
Yeah, that don't.
So you got to be careful who you take advice from, for sure.
Well, it's all. I also said this: the push and the P&L.
Correct.
And anyone that does a shop tour of mine or a mastermind of mine, I shouldn't P&L. I have no problem showing our P&L. Like, I'm very, like, you could verify that I took Munns in less than 16 months to 25 million, and I sold it for 36 million.
Yeah.
Like, that's my second roofing company.
Yeah.
I took Cherry from 2 to 12 in less than a year, and I sold it to Apex, to Vertex. Like, these aren't things that are stories. These are verifiable.
Right.
You know the people that are at the private equity. Like people are like, yeah, I did $50 million. And I'm like, and where? Like the Fruit Loop box.
Well, it's that too. Like, so many people focus on revenue, but revenue is a bullshit number. And that 8 times everything is the only one that matters, right?
Well, I say this to everyone, and I'll let you feel on this. Every company I partnered with, and I'll be very transparent, the first 3 to 5 months max, not max, but 3 to 4 or 5 months, we lost money implementing systems, processes, hiring salespeople.
Bigger fishbowl for sure.
Can you explain that process and how the hockey stick goes like this by reinvesting? You might lose money. Like I tell you what this at Munns, yeah, we sold for 36 million, but we lost 1.4 million our first 4 months, 5 months building it out.
Yeah.
Like, if people are like, what? I'm like, yeah, but look at the payoff on the back end.
Right. Right.
How fast we got there.
Maybe some transparency. You can do that. I can do that. An average contractor is, listen, don't lose $1.4 million, right? Because, like, that's how you lose your house.
No.
But yeah, this is a different situation with funding and backing and a whole thing.
Instead of going and taking debt,
Right.
I just bung capital.
Right. I get it. So in reality, like, I do this all the time. Like, if I'm going to partner with somebody, at some level, they need help. Otherwise, why would they?
100%.
Right. And that usually entails of growth is slowing down or not, growth is stagnant, not making as much money or not making money at all, right? And there's lots of reasons a business doesn't make money. The main reason, overwhelmingly, is the mindset of the person in charge. A business will grow to the comfort level of the person running. So the first thing you do when you're in a business is you start shifting their mindset of what's possible and what's realistic, and then you start putting things in place. And I've found, like, you improve the leadership team, you improve the process, you change the pricing, there's always pushback because they're not used to it. A business gets that way because they haven't grown in a while, right? And that growth, people become stagnant and they get uncomfortable with growth. So your whole team ends up fighting you on some of the basic stuff they should have been on board with the whole time. In my experience, like, the feeling of a business, which this is not like a great answer, but a business will feel a lot better about 90 days before it shows on P&L. So it's like, shit, yeah, we have a lot of problems, but now I know all of them are going to be solved. I'm comfortable, everything's going to be fixed. I'm comfortable with the team we have in place. And then about 90 days later, my P&L skyrockets. 100%. People think it goes like this, but it doesn't. It goes like...
It's a hockey stick.
100%.
I did show you all 6 companies I sold.
Yeah.
Besides one I said, that's not true, and shocked because they were around for a long time. But the 4 I've sold under 24 months, when that hockey stick went, it went like this.
Yeah.
Like, there was no, like, creeping. It's, you do 400 a month, 600 a month, $1 million a month, 1.5 a month, 2 million a month. And as soon as you hit that million number, like, we always say to people, the magic number is like 600 a month to 800. But as soon as you crack $1 million, you are chasing 2 million. As soon as you crack 2,
you know why?
You're chasing.
It's such a simple answer. It's because the moment they have $1 million a month, it expands what they think that was possible within the business. Like, they have this cap in their head, whether it's true or not, it's all bullshit. But, like, I never did all idea around that once they hit that million, it's like, fuck, we could do $1 million. Then we could do, why can't we do 2 million? Like, the change in the mindset of just what's possible is what actually does it. That's why it's so important. Like, I had a company out in Philadelphia, like, that just hit their first $1 million a month. I've been partnering with 2 years, huge, gigantic growth, right? First $1 million a month, like, I pressed when we were like 900, like, no, we're hitting $1 million. We're going over whatever the fuck it takes, because I know the moment that $1 million, like, they see that in the P&L, they shift the whole way they think about the business.
Well, it becomes more of a business talk. And then once you do $1 million, the biggest thing I've seen with all my partners, they start saying, okay, well, if I'm doing this net at $1 million, and you know how this works, if I do 2, your net doesn't just double, it goes almost 2.5, 3 times. and it's done the right way.
Depends, right? If you could still be building a bigger fishbowl, right? But yeah.
All my businesses get sold. I'm very transparent with people before we hit the 40, 50 million mark.
Yeah, so you're running a different game plan. I'm trying to grow a bunch of business, say it over 100 million. I grow me a dozen over 100 million.
Yeah, it's my game plan. I tell people I'm very transparent about it. We get you 25, 30 million.
Yeah.
We're starting shop to deal. Like, just like,
well, because the problem is it gets harder the bigger you get, for sure.
I say this all the time. People don't understand the amount of work it takes to get a company from 2-3 million to 25 is brutal. I call it building all the bottom of the house, right?
Right.
Then it takes the engineer to come in to take you from 25 to 50 million. Mm-hmm. Then it takes, a true home service operator that understands taking debt, understands the whole thing about to go to 100 million plus. Well, all these different things, or you have to go learn and get an aptitude for each step of it.
For sure.
Well, guess what? Lance Bachmann, and I say this to everyone, is not doing the 50 to 100 million to 100 million. It's just, I'm very transparent. Like,
you don't have to.
So I don't have to. Like, if you want to partner with me, you're selling before we hit 50 million. And this is the thing, and you understand this, I say this to everyone that I partner with, and I say it to all my mastermind groups, and every time someone's in a winner circle, I say, would $5 million make a difference in your life? Raise your hand. And guess how many people really raised their hand? Guess how many people?
I had no idea.
25% of the room.
Yeah.
20%. Then I say this. Who has $5 million in their bank account today? And guess how many people raised their hand in the last 2 years?
So in the bank account or investments? Because I don't have $5 million in your bank account. That's
investment, meaning you're... Okay, yeah. Guess how many people actually raised their hand?
I mean, it all depends on the room, man, but it's a small percentage.
Very small percentage. So a $5 million, $10 million check is life-changing to the average human being.
Yeah, I mean, that's generational wealth, because people don't realize that check isn't a one-time check. If you invest it, it's a check that earns dividends year after year after year. And you do also, the other catch that too.
You'll buy real estate too.
Yeah, buy real estate, but you also pay the biggest check right after that too, right? So you pay taxes immediately after, but you sell for 10 million, you're walking away with 6.5 million, right? That gives you 650 grand a year, roughly, that you're going to have in residual income.
Residual income to live your life, and you can go still work and operate and make money, right? Like most people, like some people say, I'll go retire, this and that. I mean, do I believe some people do? Yes. But that's where I don't think people, when you talk about the levels of what it takes to operate different businesses, I'm going to do, so I think it's this, like you have 90% of businesses never crack $1 million, $2 million, as you know.
Great.
Then you got a very small percent to make 5 million. Then when you're at 25 million, it gets even smaller.
Yep.
Then it's 50 million, even smaller, 100 million. Like we do $100 million in retail roofing. In this year, we're going to do $100 million in retail roofing. But that's among multiple companies.
Right.
If I was doing that on one company, that thing would have been called by that. Like, just full transparency, right? Like, people don't understand what kind of operators it takes at every level. Can you talk about that? And yet you want to do it. You want to do it at these levels.
Well, it's not just the one, because a lot of people say they want to make more money, but are they willing to put the work in?
That's what I'm saying. Right. Well, when I say what, are you willing to put the work in?
Well, everybody wants to, right?
I have no problem saying I don't. Yeah, I'd rather just keep making these cash weeks.
Yeah, no, but that's still making more money and doing things. You're spending in a different way. Like Tommy's a great example. Tommy's an incredibly successful contractor. He goes wide. I go deep, right? These are two different strategies to try to achieve the same thing. You are more in between, where you're both going deepish, but really wide. You finally expand, right? So the different levels, I mean, it's actually really simple in my mind what it takes. So, that $1 to $2 million shop, all you need to be is a decent operator, or really do great service, or know how to sell. You don't have to really do anything great. You get to that, $5 million mark, you've somehow developed into a leader. That 10 million mark, that's when you develop middle management, which is where most people get stuck because they love having a hand or everything. 10 to 25 is you start developing real leaders in that middle management. After 25, it's all systems, processes, automation, repeatable structures over and over again. And really the difference between 25 and 100 is just the quality of leaders you're able to attract and to build. that seems an oversimplification, but it's the honest truth. Like, I've done it enough times. It's not even, a lot of people think it's that person that drives it, and there's truth to that. But it's actually the team that they have that gets attracted by the person is more important. Like my father, Dave Geiger, myself, like there's things we do really, really well, but the things that we do better than anything else, we attract talent.
Dave Geiger might be one of the most nicest people and humblest men you ever meet in your life.
I mean, him or my father are arguably the greatest of all time for this industry, and you would never know what either one of them.
No, and Dave Geiger walks around, and I love Dave. You know, I'm a big fan of Dave. I say it to everyone. Like, he walks around like he's worth a nickel. Like, he's just like a friendly, not flashy, talk to anyone, give anyone advice. Like, just a good man. Like, that's
I still consider him a mentor, and I talk to him every other week.
Yeah, I mean, here's a question for you, right? You had a lot of success. You like the home services. I want to talk about you personally. Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Service Titan and Rilla, our technology of choice to helping us scale and grow our business and making sure all of our viewers have the technology to scale their business so when they want to sell it, they're able to. Do you remember the first time I ever met you?
No, man.
I do. And I owe you an apology because I met you probably 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
It was actually probably 2.5 years ago. And we were at the bar downstairs and the pen.
Okay.
But
that sounds like something I would do. I don't know.
But my head was in a really bad space because I just sold one SEO. And I was in what's called seller's depression. Like after you've been somewhere for so many years and your identities that. And I don't think I was overly rude to you, but for me, I was rude.
Okay.
And I want to apologize, first of all.
I'll do it. You didn't even register with me.
No doubt. But I know me because I'm normally a pretty friendly guy, nice to everybody. I try not to be rude. But then we talked for about a half hour, 45 minutes, and you were nothing that I perceived you to be. You were just a very nice, you almost Geiger-like. Like I was just talking to you, you were giving me advice. At that time, I was just sold doing HVAC. We talked about that. But can you talk about why you were so humble? Because you've had it. You have the track record. Like the reason why I came to your home was I went to talk to someone with a track record. Like the whole journey I'm doing now is everyone that I know. And I really try to keep Exit Rich to guys that have done it, know it, understand it. And then I bring people on that haven't. But I also know the bullshit artists where I'm like, nah, you never sold a company before. Like,
yeah, I get it.
Like, I don't have time for nonsense for you, your own fucking ego. Like, can you talk about why you're so humble and nice to everyone? It's Geiger-like almost.
That's a weird question, man. Like,
but listen, you don't walk around with this huge swag. You lost a ton of weight. You look great. You keep my body rest, but you don't walk around in flashy stuff. You've lit a way bigger home.
I'm not a possession guy. That's never have been. I'm not flashy. I'm fairly private. Like I share everything. I'm an open book. But like, you know, I'm not in social media. That's just not my personality. And transparency, I know that costs me money and costs me opportunities. But it's more important that I feel fulfilled and happy. Because that's just an extension of who I'm not, right? But the reason I try to say humble because I think it's important, right? Because the mentors I grew up with were that way, and the people. At the end of the day, business success is only one small piece of success, right? Family is more important, and friendships are more important, and making an impact in the industry is way more important to me than making money. Now I can do all those things at the same time. But I can't do that and be an egotistical asshole. That's just my opinion.
No, I'm with you. I'm with. Listen, a lot of guys that have success like you become rude. Not always were rude because they're not rude. I guess what you want to call
money just puts a magnifying glass. It's like alcohol, man. Like if you're a jerk, you pour some alcohol on it, you're more of a jerk. Money is a more extreme version of that. If you're kind and thoughtful, money will make you more kind and thoughtful. If you're sophisticated, you get real fancy. If you like to keep things simple, you tend to make things even simpler.
Yeah. You know, what do you think the biggest holdback is for most contractors to grow their company? Not only you, what I think after I hear you. You get a guy that's doing $2 million and he's stuck there for 10 years. He made a good living doing $2 million. You're gonna make a good living. Yeah, he's gonna
if somebody is doing $2 million, clearing $400,000 a year. I mean, that's rich compared to down 89.9% of the people.
What do you think holds them back to that $1 million, $2 million mark? Can you talk about that and why they don't grow? What do you see? Because I mean, all you do is deal with this every single day.
Yeah. I mean, So goes back to the same thing. It's really a mindset's the biggest problem. It's they don't know what they don't know, and they're not willing to. It's a combination of a few things. It's they don't know what they don't know, so there's a lot of pieces that they're missing in their business, and they've never sought and figured those things out. And at the end of the day, most of those businesses stay that way because they're afraid of friction and change, and it's just the pain associated with it. If you're really growth oriented, and that's what you actually care about most, you'll never stay at 2 million. Now, you may burn that business to the ground accidentally, right? But you'll never stay stagnant. Most people stay stagnant because they got comfortable. The moment you get comfortable, you either shift yourself and get yourself uncomfortable, or the world will shift it for you, right? And most people wait for the world to shift it. And when the world shifts it, it rarely shifts in a good way.
No doubt. You see these people aren't grown. You partner with people like I do.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about it. We have a very similar model.
Yeah.
Both of us.
Yeah.
You take operational control. I take operational control. You take risk equity. You stick to pretty much HVAC for the most part. I stick pretty much to roofing for the most part.
Right.
Can you talk about why? Because I believe, I don't want to use the word I'm delivering God's work, but I believe it's such a win for my partner. And you have to believe the same, because there's not many people out there doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me rephrase that. There's scam artists out there doing it.
It's not we're trying to do it.
But there's not growing companies.
Correct.
Well, if you can't do it for yourself, what makes you think you can do it for someone else?
Well, it's even just the way they structured the deals. Like I'm a big fan of like what the business that they've earned and got before I got there is their business. Like I shouldn't get a piece of that. I said milestones, and like I earned equity when we have results. So we're in the same fucking boat, right? Not everyone does that, but some people you could tell by the way they structure the deal whether they really think they could drive the business.
Mine's real simple. I take 50% operational control. I'll put cash into the operating account if I have to, right? But I won't get paid a nickel until we sell it.
Yeah.
So there's no risk for my part. Like if we don't sell, you're making money.
Yeah.
You get a salary to my partners. Every one of my partners, you get paid.
Yep.
I don't take a red cent.
Yeah.
Until we exit.
Yeah. I think that's right.
But like that, and that's where I'm very transparent.
The goal is the exit, and they have clear parameters and what that looks like, then that's super healthy.
It's funny you just said that, clear parameters, because Bill, didn't we just say we're actually making a partner list? Because people ask us so many times to partner, and we're going to say, okay, well, here it is, the parameters of our partnership. Because normally it's two people sitting in a room, and you're talking, and you know how this goes. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, one of my partners said to me at ShopRite, he's like, I'm never going to sell it. Maybe I give it to my son. What was that? Probably 3-4 years ago, right? And I was like, okay, cool. We'll come up with a fair price to buy me out when you're ready. All of a sudden it changes when he sees I'm selling company after company. He's like, how much did you make on that deal? I'm like, well, I made $18 million myself on that deal. And he's like, how much? I'm like, he's like, dude, you were in it for 15 months. I'm like, yeah. He's like, could you get me this mail for a shock? I'm like, well, Scott, you must not look at the P&Ls I send you every month, which he said, he goes, why? I said, because you're going to get twice that diesel. And he did. He got 2.5 times what he wanted.
Yeah.
Like, people don't realize the money's in the exit. Can you talk about that? Because you sold. Now, I know you don't have to because you already done it.
Yeah.
But you make more money at the time of exit than you ever will by operating a company.
So yes and no. Like, certainly a check, much, much larger. Like, no joke. If you know what you're doing, a business is always worth more to keep it because it'll continue to grow. You make money at time, it becomes higher and higher valuations. But like that's assuming everything goes perfect all times. And like at some point, I think that like blackjack. Like I like gambling. I like having fun with it.
I got no in the Vegas thing.
Yeah, different kind of. Anyway, yes, probably. But if I'm up a bunch of chips, if I sit down with 500 and I have $5,000 in front of me, I'm gonna take some of those chips and put in my 5 and they're gonna stay there. Right? I'm playing with house money. It's a win. Everybody's win. At some point, I want to exit for 2 reasons. I want to take some of those chips off the table just so I feel a lot more comfortable. And it's the only way I could really take care of my team in like a significant life-changing way. Under which out that sale, I could pay them really effectively, but they'll spend that money. Is it true?
Of course, their lifestyle goes up. I just met a guy. I'm not going to say his name. He had an LOI from Vertex, for $33 million, right? And he turned it down. And his business, he turned it down last year.
Yeah.
and his business didn't grow this year.
Right. So it's less.
It's worth less. And that $1 million goes, right? And he's like, I should have took it. He goes, that was life-changing money for my family. I said, my first
Things real obvious in retrospect, but
no,
I mean,
but that's why I always say to people, take the chips off the table.
yeah.
You know, not everyone, like, I say this to everyone. There's only one Jerry Rice I've ever seen. There's only one Tom Brady I've ever seen.
Yeah.
There's only one Jordan Burroughs. There's only one David Taylor, right? Like some idiot made a post the other day. Where they say there's no money in wrestling. Go Google the net worth of Jordan Burroughs and David Taylor. These are two guys that made millions of dollars in wrestling. Right. They're the only two that truly made it on the mat. Like, out of millions of wrestlers.
Wrestling is not, you don't go into wrestling because it's a lifestyle.
There's only one Ken Goodrich, one Dave Geiger, one Tommy Mello. Like, I don't know hundreds of Tommy Mellos, do you?
I know one Tommy Mello that comes here once a month for dinner.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, there's only, like, I don't know 100 Dave Geigers.
No, for sure.
I don't know. So, like, my thing is this, though, but I do know 100 Lance Bachmans that have sold companies, the average companies, in between.
I don't know if even 100, though. Like, I mean, I think you're underselling yourself a little bit there. But yes, for one-time flips, I know hundreds.
I sold 6, so I'm in a unique situation, and I understand that. And I'll probably wind up selling 60 by the time I'm done,
right?
Because I enjoy it, right? But the point I'm making is, when you can get life-changing money and take the monkey off your back, like that guy that didn't sell the Vertex, I'm not being weird to him. I was like, yeah, you got 3 kids, and yeah, you're gonna have to hit the reset button, and you're gonna have to make your 12 months, the next 12 months runway, grow. Because if you don't, you will take a ding. They're going to want to know why, of course, you went backwards.
Well, even if you drastically change it, it's going to make it more suspicious because they have slowed.
They want explanations. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about marketing? Because I mean, you're an expert in marketing. You know, I own the digital agency.
Yeah.
I sold it. I sold it to a search fund.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't recommend anyone to do that, but that's a whole nother conversation. You know, to any search fund. Right? When you got 30 people on a cap table or 40 people or 25 people, do not fucking sell your company. Unless you're happy with the money you got at closing, because...
Always. You have to be, regardless of who you sell to, most people want you to take a second bite of it. You have to be comfortable with the first bite. If you need a second bite to be happy, there's a chance the second bite never comes.
There's a very good chance that second bite never comes.
Unless you say, regardless of what you sell to.
I mean, I do believe, and this is where I want to stick up for, like, the Apexes, the Vertex, to Grassroots, to Champions, certainly a lot of the Howard. Like, I can tell you right now who I sold months to. Their CEO, Greg, like, we're going through the true up, how ugly that gets.
Yeah.
He's going out of his way to make it palatable for us. Like, that's why I just think you earn so many points as a PE firm, where you're like, you're not nickel and diming me. You're trying to, you're erring on the side of caution. You're going out of your way to make it work. You're not just saying this is a true up number and you owe us this amount of money. You know, and I think a lot of people don't understand that process and what it really takes that you sold a company for.
Yeah.
People don't realize it takes probably 90 to 120 days. Well, the due diligence to get ready is probably a good 6 months to a year.
The due diligence isn't.
Okay. Can you talk about that process? Because people think they just ask you for a P&L, a census, and you know what, give me an oil chart.
Well, that's true if you do $1 million, right? The larger scale you get, the more questions, the more...
Even if you're selling your company for 30 million, 20 million, they're asked the document.
Oh, sure. When I say $1 million, that's an asset purchase. That company's doing $1 million in total. Assets. Oh, that's P&L, and you know you're in between.
Yeah, who's buying that company or that Russia?
Well, a lot of people buy that company just to absorb a customer. Yeah. That would be the reason you buy that company. You're not buying it because you want to grow that company. That would you might as well start from scratch. But yeah, the whole process with the vetting process, what's the two things? Number one, you have to heavily vet who you're going to sell to, right? It's not necessarily about just the best price. That's certainly part of the process. But you have to know that you're comfortable with who's going to take over, that they aren't going to screw you, that it isn't going to be a cumbersome process more than it needs to be. And to your point, there are lots of companies who have a second flip. Now, to be clear, the second bite is not guaranteed. And even on that second bite, they could change the entire... You work for someone else now, like they could be replaced and your whole relationship to me not...
Oh, yeah, it changes fast.
It happens, right? So the due diligence process, it's essentially you got lawyers, you have accountants, you have their investors, their PE, and you're answering the same questions usually 4 or 5 times, multiple different angles, different. I wish they would all talk to each other, but they're doing that by design, trying to catch you on consistency. And it's really you and your controller or CFO, like it absorbs your life.
It does.
It's like, wow. But you get a big paycheck for it. So, listen, it's happened.
Let's talk about marketing.
Yeah.
You guys are experts in marketing.
Yeah.
Why is marketing so in business, and that's so important to a business? And how's marketing changing? And it just seems like it's getting more and more expensive online.
Online is hard. I mean, online is getting harder and harder. Marketing's been a moving target for a long time, but it's getting faster how quickly it's moving. Like PPC campaigns are, honestly, should you make money on them? For sure you can. Should you be doing PPC? Yeah. Should you be doing PPC the way most people are doing it? Absolutely not. SEO, it's a harder game to win, right? But if you can win it, it's very valuable. What we really focus on is strategic and like the branding side, which is more consistent. But like TV is less a thing that it used to be too, right? So now you're into OTT and you're into following up. And like the old billboards used to be really, really effective. Now they sometimes have 15 billboards in a row, right? Like you have to really be strategic a lot more than used to be. And you can't, so many contractors are terrible about only listening to contractors. I don't know why they do that. It's one of the advantages I've always had is I go to other industries, not just in the home service space. I could learn from anyone. And it's so easy to outcompete people in marketing if you're just not doing what everyone else says they're doing. And that's always been the case, and it's always been that way. But now, like, you figure out one thing that works, you have a 12-month maximum window of how effective that's going to be because everyone else will jump on it.
100%.
So you really have to be different and at a curve at all times.
I don't
know if that was helpful.
No. I mean, a lot of business owners don't want to know marketing. They don't want to be, and like
they don't want to know sales, then, right? Marketing is just sales at scale.
Like, but so many, like you coach people. It has to be the biggest thing that you're pounding into the people. Like you bring people together. I see online. You have people at your home. You rent places. You bring people together for masterminds. Same thing we do, right? And what's the importance of that? Because I do them because I think people start to buy in when they see other people's success by doing it. Because some people just don't realize what's out there.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that and why, like, once you see someone else doing it and the marketing's working and this is working, they start doing it. And a lot of it comes from getting in the same room with the right people.
Oh, 100%. It's expanding their friend group and their mindset. I keep going back to the same wording, but like I come up with some new wording. But no, you get a $10 million contractor next to a $100 million contractor, and it's twofold. Number one, they start realizing they have the exact same problems, right? It's just scale, but like you don't have to solve that 100% perfectly to grow and be really successful.
Absolutely.
And then the second thing is just it's one thing to know those companies exist. It's another thing to talk to the person, realize that that guy's not a genius. Like he's not Einstein, and he's not dumb necessarily either, right? But like just putting yourself around what can be possible and just opening people's eyes is huge. And that's true of marketing, operations, sales. Like, I mean, we cover the whole gambit for a reason, right? If I just pour leads onto your business, but you're not priced properly and you can't sell and you can't convert and you can't turn one call into 2 calls if you have more than one service, like I'm just having a fire that's out of control, right?
Absolutely.
I have to get fire under control first, which is why marketing's usually, halfway through the process before we fix marketing, because almost always they have a sales problem first.
Always a sales
problem. How many times have you heard, which is way less of an issue now because of all the AI, we're like, I don't have any calls, and then you look and they're converting at 40% on the phones. It's like, well,
you got calls.
Well, you got calls. You just need to close them. Well, you want me to spend twice as much? Like you're paying for every one of those calls. Why don't we actually use them, right?
Last question for you.
Yeah.
If you have a young contractor out there and they want to grow their business, how can they get in touch with you and talk to you? Because there's a lot of people out there need help. How do you get a hold of you?
Yeah, it's fairly simple. Just go to growwithclover.com. I'll give out my email too. I'll be transparent about it. If you go to the website and you talk to the team, you'll get response within a few hours. You'll get a response usually 48 hours, 72 hours if you do with me. But it's Josh at growwithclover.com. fairly simple.
Thanks for being on the show, Josh. I appreciate it very much, brother. Thank you.